Let's start with the Reds, Skinny. Chase Burns' debut on Tuesday night was the story of the week, Cincinnati-wide and in sports. He pitched 5 innings, gave up 3 runs on 6 hits with no walks and 8 strikeouts. He did strike out the first 5 batters of the game as well. The Reds came back to win that game in extra innings. Give me your thoughts while watching Chase Burns' debut.
It wasn't quite as electric as Ellie's, but it was damn close, right? I mean, he turned it into that. I guess there was, for whatever reason, there was probably more hype around Ellie because he, been in the minors for a couple of years prior. That's where Chase Burns literally started this year in high A, went to double A, went to triple A, went really quick. And it didn't look like, in fact, we talked about this last week on the podcast, when would you bring him up? Will you bring him up? What's that going to look like? And between that podcast and this podcast, they brought him up. If those of you who had not seen him pitch before, maybe you saw him in college. I saw him a couple times in college last year. I mean, his stuff is just electric. He threw a 92-mile-an-hour slider to Aaron Judge that was just ridiculous. Now, I will tell you, if Aaron Judge had caught up to one of his fastballs, he might have hit it 500 feet, but he didn't. And, I mean, what can you imagine even scripting that out, that you're going to face the storied New York Yankees with 3 MVPs at the top of their lineup? You're going to strike out the side, and then you're going to get 2 more to start the next inning off, and then end up technically striking out the next 3 batters in that second inning, but 2 in a row to start. I don't think you could have written that in a script, could you?
No. And Skinny, like the thing with Aaron Judge to end that first inning, it's like, okay, you struck out the first 2 guys. Now you get to face Aaron Judge. That's a moment as a rookie making your debut where it's like, okay, this is real. And you're trying to, the interesting thing about Chase Burns, and I wanted to get your take on this too, is not like his stuff is electric. It's hard, it's moving, but not a ton of great off-speed stuff I didn't see. Does that concern you at all that he didn't seem to have a go-to off-speed pitch?
Does he need one?
I don't know, but typically it seems like it's more like bullpen guys that rely on fastball slider only.
Yeah, I mean, there's about an 8 to 9 mile an hour difference on a slider, so
and it's awesome. The slider's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if I told you a guy threw 96, that's still throwing hard. And if I told you his slider was 88, that sounds more off speedy, right? Now there's a 8 mile an hour, 9 mile an hour difference between the two, and maybe he will eventually, to get through a lineup 3 times, have to come up with something along those lines. But I'm not touching it right now. And I know this is a different era, but Mario Soto got by on fastball changeup. I mean, the arm motion was the same. It was about probably 15 miles an hour different. I think he's just one of those guys that fastball just gets on you so quickly that's hard to adjust. I mean, the kid from Milwaukee that came up, I mean, he feels like all he does is pump 100 mile an hour fastballs in there with a lot of movement. I know he's got more than that. But no, I don't think. I think if that was concerning to the Reds, they would have left him in Louisville. That if this is more, hey, we need to refine him more, they'd have left him there. I think they felt like he was already refined.
I'm curious to see what it looks like over his next 3 or 4 starts. Does he get a little more comfortable? Does he settle in? Does he start to change up how he's pitching guys? Because it did seem like the second time through the lineup, the Yankees were onto him a little bit. Obviously, they scored the 3 runs the second time around, and they hit him around that. What was it, the 3rd or 4th inning there where he got beat around a little bit? But the best part about that was he got out of it and stayed in the game afterwards. And that, to me, was a great response because it's like, okay, you start off on fire the way you did. And again, going back to that first inning, you face Aaron Judge and you're able to strike him out to end your first inning. That's an incredible feeling. But, as you go and these guys are getting on base all of a sudden and things aren't going well and you start to feel the pressure, it gets a lot more difficult to pitch with confidence, and you're not ahead in the count all of a sudden, and you got to make some pitches to get yourself out. And he was able to do that. He didn't seem worked up. He didn't seem to lose any confidence. That's the one thing that really stood out to me. This guy thinks he's really good.
Well, yeah. I can't remember who reported this or where I heard this, but they were hoping to keep him in Louisville to have him have a start where he had to face adversity or have a game where he didn't pitch pretty well, see how he bounced back. And that finally at the point they needed a starting pitcher, and they're like, let's just see. And he kind of faced adversity in that 1 inning and handled it pretty darn well. So maybe they got what they wanted out of that, an electric start, a guy that you can have, you're going to be counting on for the next how many ever years, but also a guy that got a chance to see what he did when he handled adversity or faced adversity. Yeah,
and granted, he left the game trailing 3-0. The fact that the team was able to come back and win that one in extras for all the fans that were sitting out there in 100-degree temps was pretty awesome. It seemed like one of those games that was really fun to be at. I don't know that I would have wanted to be there sweating through it initially, but the extra innings, the way it ended, that was pretty cool. Skinny, part of that, and it's been brought up a lot, especially after that win, is the talk about this players only meeting that happened earlier in the month. You had Gavin Lux and Jose Trevino doing a players only meeting where they were talking about drawing on their postseason experience. They were talking about like, hey, be up at the top rail, cheering each other on, be more engaged in the game, those types of things. What is your take when you hear that? Since then, the Reds have obviously been playing their best baseball of the season, but do you buy into the team-led meeting, closed-door meeting?
I don't. I mean, I roll my eyes at those things. The only thing I will say about them is this. If it makes the players feel like it's something to rally around and a starting point and a way to get a fresh start, and then, to their credit, respond to playing well, then okay, good for them. But, usually those things to me are roll your eye moments. You're grasping for something, and hey, now we're going to rally around it. Well, okay, so they did. They rallied around it, and they've taken it. I think they're now, after last night, 12-6 since that players only meeting. So, all right, if it worked, if it felt like it worked mentally, good for them. But is that the reason Matt McClain started to hit better? Is that the reason Ellie started to play like a superstar? I'm going to say no to both of those. But again, if it makes them feel like it was a starting point and a fresh start point, it's certainly proven to be.
You know where I thought Gavin Lux's leadership really showed up? When he got that game-winning walk-off hit in extra innings. I thought that was better leadership maybe than the closed-door meeting. That probably mattered more to the team. Like, Gavin Lux, be healthy, be on the field, and get hits. That's the leadership they need more than anything.
Yeah, people. I know people get mad at me when I do this, and the people talk about how important chemistry is. Chemistry doesn't mean a damn thing in baseball, in my opinion. You know what?
100% accurate.
Your chemistry is not going to help me hit that 92-mile-an-hour slider. It's me against him. It is literally an individual game within a team game. Are there some team things you can do? Can you be a good teammate? Can you be a good clubhouse guy? Sure. But I've never bought into that thing. I think it's hokey. I think it's something that fans try to cling to. It's the same thing in football. They came out, they played flat today. No, they probably didn't execute. The flat thing, that's probably not there. They got to play with more pad. Come on, give me a break.
They didn't come ready to play. They weren't ready.
Yeah.
I love that. Skinny, here's the funny thing about the players only meeting blowing up again this year. We've done this each of the last two seasons. When the team stunk, Luke Maley led a players only meeting that was publicized each of the last two seasons, where all the players were like, oh yeah, Luke really gave us good talk and changed the tone in the clubhouse, and we're on the right path now. And then like 3 weeks later, they stunk again. So, I mean, I'm just not buying in the players only meeting. I'm not saying they're not playing better baseball. I'm not saying Gavin Lux and Jose Trevino can't be good leaders. I'm not even saying that there isn't some level of like camaraderie and magic that there's the new Shih Tzu on camera if you're watching on YouTube.
There it is.
Just popped. Is that why you've been bending over every 3 seconds, getting off your feet?
She keeps rubbing into my feet.
Yeah. Well, I do think there is something to be said for like some teams catch fire, they're playing good baseball, they rally around each other, and it's fun to be around. Like that does happen. There are clubhouses and locker rooms that play better because they're loose and they're having fun together. If this somehow leads to that, then okay, maybe. But like the players only meeting thing, it's every single year we have to hear about this BS, and it never seems to turn out to anything.
Yeah, no, part of the reason you're winning right now is you got guys playing better and you've gotten some guys healthier. And those are the things of why you're winning games. But again, if they felt like this was a fresh start, all right, let's put the past behind us. Let's do some of these little things. Let's do some of these things better. And they go out and do it. Okay, then again, it worked to some extent. But I don't think it's the whole match-like turnaround for that.
Matt McClain looked at Ellie. Ellie looked at Matt McClain. And they said, win one for the Gipper. I mean, like, what are we doing? The team is 42-39 now, fourth place in the NL Central, 5.5 games back of the Cubs. They are playing better baseball, 12-6 in their last 18. But is it discouraging at all when you look at that and they go on a run, they're a few games over 500 now, and after all that, they're still sitting in fourth in the NL Central? Is that part of it, that the division is so good this year, discouraging?
No, I no, because they've gotten themselves back in it with this level of good play. If you sustain this current level of play, and I don't think you're going to play 667 baseball the rest of the season. That's the 12-6 run that they're currently on. You're going to start leapfrogging teams in a hurry. But you just do the double up math portion of this, 84-78. I thought 90 would win this thing. I think I predicted 88 when the year started. I mean, you're really not far off of that pace if you continue to play the way you're playing. And, at some point you're going to get Noel Marte back up here. You're going to get Austin Hayes back. Hopefully Hunter Green is back. My guess would be, they probably hold him through the All-Star break. And, and suddenly, I mean, you have a really formidable rotation, 1 through 5, with Brady Singer being 5 and Nick Martinez being back, I think, in the role of the bullpen guy, the super 3 or 4 inning guy, which I think is his best role.
It's funny because I think you can look at this team and think it's what's going on right now. This 12-6 run is very fragile. Like you could say, Andrew Abbott's not going to continue this pace. What if Hunter Green doesn't come back or doesn't get healthier, doesn't respond? Does Ellie cool off again? Does he go through a slump after being so hot through this stretch? You could say that, but you can also just point out what you just pointed out, like the pitching is actually good this year. It's not like 2 years ago when the pitching stunk. Mo Egger talked about that a lot yesterday, where this pitching staff is actually a strength for this team, which is a huge difference from where they were at when people were starting to get excited 2 years ago. And to me, that's the most exciting part. But then you mentioned all those names who could come back, get healthy, could start playing better. Like Matt McClain is just now starting to play some good baseball again. We've been waiting to see that since what he flashed 2 seasons ago. That part of it could go either way in terms of that narrative, right? You could say what they're doing right now is very fragile and could fall off, but you could also say, hey, this team could still get better this year potentially.
Yeah, I mean, because I've seen Matt McClain do it for a fairly long stretch of the 2023 season, right?
And Hunter Green's the biggest one. I mean, when he comes back,
right.
Could change everything.
No question. I mean, again, you put a rotation, and again, do I think Andrew Abbott's going to finish this season with an ERA below 2? Probably not. But it has been incredible to watch. You put a rotation of Hunter Green, Lodolo, Abbott, Chase Burns, and Brady Singer. Probably the only weak link is Brady Singer, and that's a pretty good weak link if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, that's a 5th pitcher.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on the Reds here, Skinny?
No, I will say, I mean, I think you saw the combination of the Yankees, right, being in town, and the combination of them playing better baseball and then backing it up with that comeback win and winning the series from the Yankees. I just think it does show how much buzz there can be when you start to play winning baseball. Again, I know the Yankees had something to do with that, right? They're a national drawing card. Aaron Judge is a national drawing card.
Right.
But I would hope the Castellans look at that and go, all right, what do we need to do at the trade deadline to keep this thing rolling? Because fans will show up for this stuff. They showed it in 2023. I mean, they came out in droves when that team was when they brought all the kids up and they played great. I just hope they look at that and decide, all right, you know what? Let's go for this. Might cost us some money. I mean, I'll give them this. It was a good sign. I think that they said enough with Jeimer Candelario. We've already got a sunken cost there. Why keep battling with this? I think if they'd have kept him on the roster, it sometimes forces your hand of, we're paying him, we got to play him. And when it came down to it, it's like, no, he's not any good anymore, and we don't think, and we've already sunk the cost, so we'll eat the $20-some-odd million that's left and let him go. And I think that's at least a good sign. Now, maybe it'll be a sign that's why they can't go out and get another bat because they've already sunk that cost. But again, that was sunken cost anyway. So that was a positive step, in my opinion.
Skinny, they're doing this, but they're still, we just mentioned, they're still 4th in the NL Central. The weather is unbearable right now. You call up a rookie and the whole city responds. Like you said, I mean, the city was electric and everyone's buzzing about it for 48 hours, especially after you win that game in extra innings. You're 100% right about that. This fan base is so incredibly loyal to the Reds. It's almost unreasonable at this point, considering the lack of success and the fact that it seems like you don't get a lot for them, going back to the where you're going to go comments. And yet people are still engaged and they're ready to go. If they can find a way to get this thing rolling into August and September. And I was listening to Mo yesterday. He's saying, I think this is like a team. It's not get us to Bengals training camp. He's like, I think we'll be paying real attention to them in August and September. If that's really the case, I think the city will be electric come this fall. When you've got the Reds finishing up, if they're still in it and the Bengals are starting, I mean, that's going to be a great time in the sports calendar for Cincinnati fans.
No question. No question.